you're joined by your host,
the bod,
and the mum. Our names are
Davey.
Welcome. And today's guest is none other than the bod.
The king.
I really have to up my game, Mr. Stewart, because this is twice now you've done an interview on our own podcast, and I haven't even interviewed once. This is not good enough.
Well, we're just going to have to start interviewing you then.
I know. I'm going to look myself in the mirror here, and I'm going to tell myself to sort it out. Sort it out.
It's next year.
So, we are here today to talk about a recent event that you took part in and a massive achievement that was achieved. I'm going to hand it over to you, and you tell people what you took part in and what happened.
Yeah, last week I took part in the NBFI, the National Bodybuilding Federation of Ireland, finals, and it was 150 athletes at it, and there was 800 audience at it. Big show I've ever done, so it is, and it was to compete to try and get into the Irish team to get over to the Worlds and the National Olympia. And my goals at the start was to try and win it, but then it decided we'll get on a few into that there later on, top 5, but I ended up coming second to it, out of 7 athletes in my category, which I was very lucky and very blessed, because most all the other categories, there's 15 to 20 people in their categories. So the 7 I was up against, like, I have the condition of them guys was mental. Was
the largest competition you've been up against in your bodybuilding career?
Yeah, definitely. That and the British finals. But for audience wise, like 800 people in an audience, see, when you step out on stage and you hear people roaring, shouting, the adrenaline is just pumping right through you. It's got the stage as at the back, backstage before we went on a routine. So I was near sick. The adrenaline was coming through me that much. You just felt,
my goodness.
It was nuts. So
do you think that affected any of your posing, or did it enhance it?
From a routine, it did affect it big time. I forgot my routine completely. So
oh no.
It was just a stud out. It was like a deer in headlights. Because usually at every show, the last one you're at, the way the lights are dimmed down, so I can't really see the audience, but the cat lights on because there's a dark background. And when you step out in that stage and you look around, you see that whole thing full of people roaring, shouting. You're like, and my music was playing. I lost it, so I just had to go through my head, just make things up. And went backstage and I said to the guys, I messed up my routine there. And they all bust out laughing. They says, I done the same too.
Do you think had you nailed your routine, you would have got first?
No, the routine was more. It was just for the audience.
Yeah.
When you do your pre-judging, that's when you're getting scored. So it was. Right. That's once you're doing your routine. All that's then basically just while they're doing routines, they're marking your scores and stuff. Now with the BNBF, when you're doing your routine, yes, you can get extra points via that there. But the NBFI, it was just you're scored on your pre-judging. So it was at first. Now with the pre-judging, as soon as you walked out and you heard the crowd going, it definitely gave me motivation. It definitely makes you squeeze a little bit harder, push a bit more, and stand more prouder. But like I said, if I had one more week, all I needed was one more week. If I had one more week, I reckon I would have won it.
So let's talk about what it means to win. Like you come second, which is a phenomenal achievement, and we'll get to the background of the training for that and why you decided to go down. We'll discuss some things we did before, but talk to me about, like, what does that mean for you now? Is that an accolade, or do you get to do something with that now?
It's just means second. You're the second best masters. Over 40s in Ireland. It can't get any better than that. I can't. So I
get to go forward to the Olympia then.
No, it's only the guys who win their classes go forward to do the Worlds, and then on to like the Olympia and stuff. They get into Ireland, so they'll get most of their expenses and all paid for them and stuff. In a way, I'm glad he came second. Due to the guy who won it, he was really buzzing. He wanted to win it, and he was in good condition, and that was his goals. So if I had won it, I'd have took that away from him, And I just basically couldn't have done it this year because in my head that was it. Last show of the season, no more. So if I had won it, I took that place away from the fella who did win it. So coming second to me, it was already a victory.
Yeah. So we talked about this a couple of episodes ago about when you did the competition on the 25th of June this year and you won your Masters category.
Mhm.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
And then you had a chance to go back.
Three-peat next year.
Yeah, my husband's done 3 in a row for like a couple of players for. Sorry, I don't know if it's
No. Brilliant.
So what happens? Like you decided then you've done the BNBF, is that right?
Yeah.
In Belfast, Norwich direction, on the 25th of June. You came first, whoop, whoop, and then you qualified and you were invited over to the finals.
Yeah.
You decided that that was not the route that you wanted to go down, and I don't know if you want to repeat why. And then you chose to go down the Irish route. Do you want to repeat why you didn't choose BNBF finals in England?
Yeah. I just the expenses of the inflation of this year of what everything has went up, your electricity, everything, it was just doubled in price, and just sitting trying to figure it all out, it was just impossible. And there was birthdays, Megan was 18, excuse me, Monty had planned stuff and all, so I decided, okay, well, I'll skip BNBF this year, and I'll figure something else out. So went and done the NBFI, and it was a good opportunity to get into the team and go over to the Worlds, or to say like the Worlds, if you maybe qualified in the Worlds to the Olympia. So I thought, okay, right, I'll put all my time and effort into that there. But just unfortunately, things go. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And unfortunately, it
Well,
just
it works
fell.
in this case. Do you think if you'd have gone over to the finals in England and the price hadn't been an issue or any cost had been an issue or any events hadn't been in place, that you would have done as well as you did down in Dublin? Or down in Dublin?
Definitely, yes. Well, if I hadn't have, if things hadn't have fallen backwards for me and everything fell into plan, yes, I would have got the top 5. But that just things didn't happen. So next year, that'll be my goals and what I aim for, because of the judges' report and reviews fed back from the BNBF qualifiers. I knew what I had to work on was my conditioning, and I knew what to do to get the conditioning down. And then so next year, that's going to be the focus. The focus was to get down to Ireland this year.
So you did your competition in June and you had until end of September, end of December, wasn't it, to do your
Yeah.
competitions? So not a long period of time.
Nope.
Did you take off any break between June, like even a short break in June, when you finished that one and in between this one?
Yeah. I took, I think like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks off. For away on holiday, family holiday. And we were away for about, I think, 7 days or something. But I took that off, had in my mind, I knew what was set up and what was going to plan ahead. But when a few things backfired, I thought, okay, right, I'll relax a bit because I didn't know what was going to happen the rest of the year. But still in holidays, I was getting up early in the morning. I was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Still, there's a few gyms down there I got invited to. So I went and trained, but I still had, a few good meals and a few bad meals if I wanted a few wee drinks or whatever I had a wee drink. It's just downtime with the family, and that was all put to the side. But I knew what I had to do when I get back home to get focused and get my head into the game again, which it would have been on track. So it's, as I say, things go that way for a reason. To do it, as I said. Yeah, and sure, when I got back
Or did
home
you hit any
again,
bumps?
I got my head into focused into gear and says, right, here we go. This is what's going to happen. And started prep. I would say maybe halfway through prep, I took sick. It's vomiting and just being on the toilet. Just couldn't keep food down both ends, and it took a week or so, and it just really couldn't train or eat or nothing. And even after that, it was like a week later. It was still like my energy was low. Just still trying to force feed food and all in a minute, trying to get a wee bit of training. And so by the time I got myself back together again, it was like, I think it was like 4 weeks out from the NBFI. So, it sort of backfired. So then I had to sit and reevaluate things and sit back and think, right, what I had to do. And I was starting to stress out because I was weighing myself every single day and looking at videos and focusing and trying to figure out what am
You
I
surely
doing
haven't been
wrong.
sick. You would have lost that excess weight that you had on.
Yeah, it's every shape you're shaping hang. It was just near enough it was just wasn't there the way I wanted it. But then that was the stress was building up, was I was looking at myself, weighing myself, thinking I need to do this, need to do that. And I was starting to get like a real negative, bad thoughts that was going down. And as I say, remember we were talking, I was planning to pull out and everything. So then I sort of stepped
Yeah.
back and I pulled out old books of my dad's stuff, read back a few things and stuff, and started figuring things out and said, right, okay, 4 weeks out, we could do this here. So I didn't weigh myself from 4 weeks onwards. I only went by eye,
Brilliant.
what I looked like. And from then 4 weeks on, I just put motivation speeches on and motivation videos. I watched our podcasts, everything to do with like motivation or inspiration, anything at all. Pictures of Maddie and the kids, Cody sitting in front of while I was doing the bike. And I ramped my cardio up to like 2 hours a day. That was even before going to work, everything. And food was calculated, didn't miss a button on it, so I didn't. And still couldn't, still the body just wasn't working, though. And I got down to 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks out. It just clicked, and the body was, everything was just working perfect for me. So it was, I was pulling into shape, and that's when my head just started turning around and saying, right, I can do this here. And then
Yeah.
people started putting posts up, tagging themselves in who's going to be there. And I was sort of looking at the guys thinking, I could beat these guys, so I could. And so started hammering away again, said 2 hours cardio, and just working and bringing my food and working away at my food. And lucky enough, I was sort of blessed for them. A couple of weeks in, I was on nights, so it means I could sleep through the daytime, doing my cardio, bit of training, food, sleep, not getting cravings for junk or anything like that there, into work and repeat, and just constantly hammering it down. And that's when I started thinking I could win this here. And then the day of the show, I seen a few guys backstage, and I says, right, okay, I could beat him, I could beat him, and I could beat him. That's going to give me a top 3 placing. And came, so we were all lined up, we are all called out and stuff, and had Kenny down with me. He was backstage, and he was keeping me calm, and they're all pumping up like an hour, half an hour, maybe before the show. And Kenny
Yeah.
says, just sit down, keep your clothes on, keep yourself warm, and relax. And in my head was, if they're pumping up, I want to pump up. And he says, no.
Absolutely.
He says, just relax. All you need to do is 15 minutes before we get on stage. So I was just laying there, relaxed, hood up, laying down on the ground, and they were still pumping away. You could hear them saying they're exhausted and stuff. And Kenny says, didn't tell you. And I says, yeah. So that was right. He says, right, get a few rice cakes, bit of honey, bit of salt on you, just to get, something in your stomach, and get the blood flowing. And then I had a bottle of, I think it was Jack Daniels, and he says, do you know like the wee shot glass ones?
Yeah.
So I downed that there, just to get the veins out, just to get the heat in, and done that there. He
Is
says,
that
right.
recommended before you go on and do a show?
Most people do it. It's just like, I suppose you could take like salt or something like that there, but it's something I've done from day one. It's just really, if I take something like that there, it just brings the veins out. I wouldn't recommend it, or I don't. Most people the night before they drink a glass of wine to dry themselves out and stuff. But the back of show, I just like, I suppose I've done there. I don't know why. I don't know how I came across it.
If I
But
was to do that, I'd be walking on it. I wouldn't be walking. I'd probably be crawling on the stage.
and so I think it was like 15 minutes. It says, Kenny says, right, start stripping off and we'll start pumping up. And when I took my clothes off and I stand in my posing trunks, and there was a mirror, and I looked at my mirror, and that was the first time I really genuinely just looked at myself. And when I looked at myself, I went, holy hell, I am in shape. And Kenny's eyes, I knew by the expression of Kenny's eyes, he went, what the hell have you done in these last couple of weeks to do
Yeah.
this here? And we're pumping up, and the more pumped up, the more fuller I felt, and more positive got. And I was looking around the rest of the guys and all going, I could hammer these guys, hammer these guys. And there was one guy, like, I mean, he was pristine condition. His skin was wafer thin. I said, okay, well, maybe he'll win it, and I give him a good battle for this. So they were calling us all out. So they were lined us all up, and then they called us all out, on stage, and they had me in the middle. And usually when you're in the middle, you're like 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and they work their way out.
Yeah.
And they were comparing me to everybody else. And I was like, holy crap here. They've kept me in the middle the whole way through this here. I could win this because I had more shape. but I didn't have the conditioning. And I thought, oh, maybe they're going for the shape more than conditioning. And then with the crowd going and the adrenaline, and the more adrenaline, the more confidence I got. So the more confidence I got, the more my posing got better. And then just before we went off stage, they turn around and says, could number 20 swap? I think it was like number 41 and put me on the outside. And that was fifth. And I thought, oh, lost it. I'm fifth place, hadn't placed. And, you know, Cody was in the crowd. And my goal was to place for him.
Yeah.
And I just dropped, my confidence just dropped so much. It was scary how quickly that's ever happened to me. So then
What happened to your posing then? Did it posing it? Was it
posing,
effective?
I wasn't as confident for the first couple of wee rounds, and then I said to myself, right, this is a battle. You came here for a battle. You have to friggin' battle here. Get your ass into gear. You know, knock this confidence negative stuff out of your head. And then the crowd started roaring again. I said, okay, right, this I'm gonna give him. I'll give him it this here. And if I can get swapped beside him, I'm gonna show the judges who is, you know, number one, and that's me. And so the comments came back again, and I was posing. I could hear the guy panting and getting on in front of me, and he was out of breath. So I held and held and held my pose. And when they said no quarter turn to like double bicep or something like that, they're all throwing theirs up first. I took my time and just got myself into position and threw myself up and held my position, where you can see them as all sort of shaking and getting on. And I says, right, just
Yeah.
take your time, relax, chill out, and keep on doing what you're doing. So I said that was it, and then they put us off. And say backstage, I thought, top five, well, top five is that's what I was aiming for. Placing would have been great with Cody being there. So we're done our routines and stuff like that there, and then they call you back on stage again and do a pose down. It's just like, you know, just a bit of crack and banter for the audience while they get the scores ready. And then they tell you to go and step at a line at the back. So then it says, right, the results are in, or he's all ready and stuff like that there. And as they were calling the results out, it came down to the top five. So they called, you get some, can't remember their names, but your guy was top five, he was called out. I said, oh, brilliant. Top four, called fourth place out. And I went, holy crap. Top three, brilliant. Called top three out. And I went, whoa, top two here. So I turned and looked at the guy, and I says, I guess it could be me and you. I says, you know, good luck. And he says, good luck. And but when they called me out second, I was just like over the moon. To me, that was a victory. I was
Yeah.
just second in Ireland. Couldn't freaking believe it. And I looked up, and I could see Cody and the big smile on his face and all. And I was like, you know, there you go. That's a victory for me.
Oh, it's amazing. I think for the viewers, it's important that I share a bit of background from my perspective, having seen Davy go through this. Now, Davy is correct. He was very unwell, and his headspace was kind of up his backside, and being honest about what he thought he was going to do with this competition. He didn't know if he was going to go down, didn't know if he did go down. He was just going there for the experience,
Yeah.
which I knew was a pile of crap, because Davy's very competitive, very driven. So to not give his best 100% wouldn't be like them. So I knew something was going wrong with him in the last couple of weeks. Something did happen. Something clicked with him. He started to get a bit more motivation back. He's like, look, I'm going to aim for the top four. That's the goal. That's what I want to aim. Don't know why fourth, but you know, this is why I was aiming for it.
Mhm.
So then he had been struggling. He worked with Kenny. Now, Kenny, who's mentioned before, was on our podcast recently. He talked about being a NIFMA judge, so the Northern Ireland Fitness Model Association judge. Again, bodybuilder, and has been a good friend to Davy for a while. So having his support and having his eye as a judge point of view has been really helpful. And I think that gave you the motivation and boost to get yourself out of your backside and getting going. But I think the key takeaway from me from that story thus far is that you kept doing what you knew to do. So you kept being consistent. And I think whenever people are on a fitness journey, whether it be bodybuilding or losing weight or tone up, whatever it may be, we always get frustrated when we don't see the results quickly, or we get sidetracked, or life just throws us curveballs and we have to deal with them. And that means our trajectory has changed a little bit. But if we keep consistent, keep on the path that we know works and gives us results, eventually we'll start to see the results, and then our confidence starts to grow and that negative mindset starts to shift.
Oh,
The problem
definitely.
that I would have is a negative mindset and how you get yourself out of that rut. You've mentioned a few times that you had that negative rut on the stage when you're moved from the center out to the edge. Have you any tips for our viewers, Davy, as to how you give yourself that shake to get going again?
Yeah. What sort of got me the shake was, you gotta look back. I have 22 weeks, maybe plus, 30 weeks of prep. Your body is going to take a toll, and say being sick, it does knock you back. Um, my advice was is just try and focus. You know, your mind's going to play games with you. You're going to look at yourself thinking you're not in good shape now, but you really are. Look at the photos. Even talk to somebody or show somebody, photos of yourself, and see what they say. And once they say something that you can't see, then you see that there. And when people comment and stuff like that there, that's when your mindset changes.
Indeed,
It's
absolutely.
hard. It is hard to get out of it. It's very awkward, but I say I just turned everything around. I was sort of blessed being on night stuff. I could, just live in a wee bubble of my own, focus, visualize what I wanted to do, what I wanted to look like. I say motivation speeches, videos, YouTube things. I was just focused on so much being positive, and if there's anything negative, I'd have walked away.
Yeah.
So yeah, so getting out of the negative thing, it would be just work around like a positive side of things, of your journey, how far you've came along. Use your family, your friends, show them wee videos, wee clips, or say, what do you think, what do you recommend, what way do I look and stuff. And we think simple things like that there is going to give you so much positive feedback yourself, get your confidence back and your energy again. Say I just had pictures sitting up, and what was going through my head was, because of sponsor stuff, have let these down, and so on and so on. But at the end of the day, it's just a show. It is what it is. But my competitive side, I'm so competitive. Like, I want to go up there, and my goal is to be number one. I want to be the king standing up there. You're battling to beat me. And I say that was the first time ever where, you know, I did take sick, and like the negative just really did creep in. And,
Mm.
and again, there's me, I would say to people, get your scales, chuck them out through the window. What did I do? Jump on the scales every single day, weigh myself. Why is my weight not dropping down? I
Yeah.
can't drop my food down any lower, or I'm going to end up sick or in hospital, and so on, so on. And that's putting stress on your body. So I said, just never even looked at the scales. I just looked at myself each morning, worked out, right, okay, wee things are starting to change here or there. I ramped my cardio up. I was doing 2 hours a day and working out, plus my training, eat my food. And once I got rid of all that negative energy and stress and stuff, then it just clicked. And as I said, just one more week, that's all I needed. And I reckon I would have won it. But I
It's
say,
weird, like whenever we all know what not to do, like you knew
yeah,
not to stand on the field, yet you wanted that validation from a little tin box with numbers to tell you
yeah,
that you were doing well. And again, when you're working with clients in the fitness industry, they rely so heavily on the scales and they get so frustrated and they give
yeah,
up. We see time and time again working with clients that they'll put all the effort into it and they'll go hell for leather for the first couple of weeks. They'll see some results, and all of a sudden those results start to plateau off, or their
yeah,
muscle fat to lean muscle ratio is changing over. So they're not seeing the scales changing in the way they thought they would. And they start to freak out and they start to go, oh, falling off the wagon, or they'll go out and they'll have a drink and not
yeah.
realize that you can still have a social life and a fitness life. You just have to balance them. And when they do that, they fall off the wagon and they never get the results that they want. And if they do get the results, they push too hard, too fast, and it's never sustainable. So I think it's very pertinent today that you mentioned that you need to look at your progress pictures. You need to speak to your family and friends, the
Yeah.
people who see you every single day, because they're going to see things that you don't see because you're hypercritical of what you want to see within
Yeah.
yourself. So I think it's pretty damn cool that you recognize that and you started to change that, because if you hadn't changed that, Davey, I don't know if you'd have even gone to the competition.
No, I think if I hadn't changed, to be honest with you, I would have. Because even talking to Mandy and say like yourself, like in my head it was, I was giving myself an hour week and then I was pulling out. That was just a simple fact of it. I wasn't in where a space I wanted to be, the shape I wanted to be. My body was so stressed. It was putting so much pressure and all on me. And then I'd say, I just got my books out and I went back flicking through everything. And because in my head, I had a weight I wanted to be for that show. And then I sort of never trigged on, off season, I had put on more muscle than I normally had. So obviously your weight's gonna, stay the same, and maybe you'll drop your fat off and hold on muscle mass. I never thought of that there.
Mhm.
Again, there's the negative side of it kicked in. You're not dropping your weight, so on, so on. But as I say, likes of myself and all the other competitors out there, you have to go by your scales, because you have to go by what you're eating per day, by your weight, your grams and stuff. But I just threw that all out the book, and I said that just destroyed my head. Never went on the scales for I think 3 weeks out. Never even sat on them or looked at them or nothing. Just went by looks, sent Kenny pictures, or sent Mandy or something, or I took a picture of myself and stuck it up on Facebook, and writ positive something underneath it, the king is coming or whatever, just to get that motivation and fire back. Once I got
Yeah.
to that headspace again, that was it. That game was on. And to
I
say,
have been listening to an audiobook recently. I'll put it in here. It's called Girl Stop Apologizing. Obviously, you're a bloke, so it's only matter of you, but the sentiment is the same. You put good stuff into your body,
yeah,
whether that be food, good influences, good meditation stuff, and have affirmations that you apply to. And
mhm,
you visualize yourself in a certain way, but you don't talk about when I get to this and if I get to that. It's like, I am. So you put yourself in the present tense. So when you say you put out those affirmations and motivational speeches under your picture, the king is coming,
mhm,
or the king will be here. Like, you have that already, that status of the king. That's, some people might think it's arrogant and cocky, but it is getting you into the headspace
yeah,
where, why can't I be able to call myself the king? Like, why can't I believe that I'm going to do successfully?
that's it.
And obviously it pays dividends for you. So there's a lot to be said about putting positive stuff into your mind.
Yeah. There's loads of people try and say, why do you put that up for you? And people maybe think, oh, frick, he's a prick or whatever. I look at him, Mr. Freaking Ego and all. It's not. It's just me. I love the competitive side of it, so I'll put something up if should it have to be bring people like who I'm going up against thinking, holy crap, I am going to have to pull my ass into games. This guy here is, the man to beat. But like I said, give me so many years, and if I can pull myself into the shape, the conditioning, and the size I want to be, I'm going to be unstoppable. I've said that from day one. BNBF, I'm three-peating next year. I have three more shows to do. And the first show I'm doing, I'm that confident that when I go to this show, I'm not even going to hardly prep for it. I'm just going to continue on prepping for the BNBF. I'm going to walk into this first show, take a trophy, and go. And the fella who has it, who has won it 2 times this year, I told him, I said, mate, you may bring your A game because I guarantee I'm taking that off you. And it's the same with the NBFI this year. I congratulated the guy. I told him how much a good shape he was in. And I said to him, I said, next year, I'm taking that off you. I said, if I need one
What do
more
you
week,
say?
I would have had it. Because I know what he has now. He's conditioning. He hasn't got my shape. So if I bring my shape and conditioning, I've got that gold.
And then are you ready for what that means for you next year in terms of the traveling?
Everything's all planned out. Um, I'm already visualizing. I'm focusing on everything that I'm going to do next year. I've already seen myself up on stage, see myself being number one, and walking on that stage and taking that trophy. Because
That's
everything's
amazing.
always planned ahead. So as say
Do you
this is
use, like, we talked about this when we had Olivia Willis on the podcast about visual boards. And
mhm.
I, to be honest, haven't set mine up yet. I've printed out pictures, but I haven't actually put them on a board. Do you follow that sort of format where you have a visualization board, or is it just a mental visualization?
No, I don't have a board. It's all in my head. I will what I do is just basically I'll have that all in my head. So say this is off season. So every time I'm in that gym, I know I have to bring my legs up. So I'll visualize and focus and work on that there. And see also down, next year. So I'll eat, sleep, breathe, even dream of me visualizing being up on that stage, my posing, my routines, my quarter turns, how I'm going to look, the condition I'm going to be, you know, from my tan to my posing trunks, everything is down to hang. You know, even I was talking to Mandy this morning, posing trunks are picked out for next year and everything already. You know, it's gonna be a good year.
I must admit, like Mandy is an absolute gem because this isn't her passion, this is your passion, and she follows you and supports you regardless. Does she ever get bored of the talk of bodybuilding?
I don't really talk much bodybuilding to Mandy. It'd be more sometimes if just like a general conversation come up, I would say, you know, maybe she's planning holidays, stuff like that there. She would try and ask maybe what dates of the shows or whatever. I would just say, listen, the only show maybe I really don't want to miss would be the BNBF because I want to three-peat the title and do the British finals. Any other show, you know, the other shows I have lined up, yes, I know I could win, but I don't really have to do them. I'll
Yeah,
put my family first, you know, go on holidays or whatever, we'll do that. We were chatting about even going maybe to America or somewhere. And if we're going to America, I'd even pull out of the BNBF and go to America and do a show over there and try and get my pro card over there, crack there. Things again was the last time I was over, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I came second on that. So to have a go at that again would be good. But no, she's into her fitness as well, and she loves all that there. See, I'd send her videos and pictures of myself, and you know, she is dead on. She would try and say, you know, this is what you need to do, or this is what this looks like and stuff, and she'd compare photos and all, and just tell you. So it's good to have, you know, like a Mandy, a partner like that. It's definitely,
absolutely. And
yeah,
like I have obviously been looking at information, and obviously from personal review, it can get a bit over like when someone's got such a passion, that's their 100% focus is on that area. And other people in the family dynamics or friendship groups can feel a little bit isolated or a bit left behind. But the fact that you and Mandy have that good relationship, she understands how important this is to you, but she also takes a deep interest in it,
yeah.
means that this whole experience isn't just a Davy thing, it's a family thing, which is amazing for most people. And I think that is what people need to think about when they're getting involved in any new experience, whether it be bodybuilding, whether it be fitness, whether it be anything else that they have a passion for, is that they don't exclude their family or exclude their friends, that they talk about their passion, but not to the point that they're annoying.
Yeah, no, some people are just one mind and a little bit of focus and they'll push their whole family out of the way. Now,
Yeah,
the very last week, that's where I was going a wee bubble of my own, but you know, Molly sort of knows that there. If I was at her house and stuff like that, she would just let me work away and the kids will do their thing and I'll do my thing. But again, you know, still family comes first no matter what. You know, it's memories with your family is something you'll always have. Your shows are just they're there. Yes, they are my passion and stuff, but at the end of the day, like you only get one shot at the kids growing up and you can't rewind back time for that there. You know, so they
no,
all come
absolutely not.
first. And that's the saying that this show would have been the best show I've ever done. And for me, the victory was with my son being in the crowd. You know, that to me, that's a win. You know, him being there was nuts. And then especially with me being on stage first. So I got to sit up afterwards with him. And he's sitting looking at the juniors and the teens and all. And he turned around and he said to me, he says, you know, give me a few years, I'll beat all them. He says, there's nothing special about them. And I was looking at him going, oh, this is going to be interesting. You know, he's the future. He's just gifted. Yeah, so you know, and then even with the interviews and all, like the words he came out with, I was just standing there going, where'd that all come from?
Brilliant. We're going to link those interviews in on the description below. Davey's done interviews with Love Lurgan and also Belfast Live. Woo
Yeah.
woo.
Hope-
Not jealous at all because I know my time will come. But here,
and then hopefully it could end up being on TV, but we'll keep
yes,
that
we will not
quiet for
say
the
much
meantime.
about that, but it would be a good morning if you did, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Mm.
it'll be interesting. uh, see me your May Margie, you'd have to come over.
Absolutely, I'd be like first class and having your list of what do you call those things that all the pop stars and stuff do? List of demand.
Champagne out of flutes and all sit and drink it.
Oh, that's champagne flakes. We just have like some like fizzy stuff or something. But like if you were picky about like Skittles, it would be the purple ones for me.
Uh,
Like
when do you
me.
want the purple ones? Hey, there's a yellow one out there. Don't want them. Pick it out. Flick it away.
Oh,
Oh,
if only, David, if only.
I know.
So we're on off season. How long is your off season gonna last for?
Off season's going to last till New Year's Day. Once New Year's Day has come, that's me in full prep, full focus for the season ahead. So it is.
for the
So
BNBF in June again?
yeah, there's a show that I might be planning to do, and before that, I think that's in May. So it
Right.
is. But
So you'll be
again,
pretty
like I
much
said,
almost at you'll be 80% there by May anyway.
yeah. Well, I'm not really that there. What the show I'm doing, I know the fella I'm up against. So like I said, I'm not going to bust my ass off to pull myself in. I know the condition by the time come May. I know the condition I'll be in. So I'm not going to do my normal stuff. I'll just take my time and continue with prep. Because it's a different category, it just, uh, excuse me, it'd be pretty easy to do. So say, I'm just going to walk in, take a trophy, and say, see you later. And that gives me another option for another final throughout the year.
It also bolsters your competition and your confidence for going forward to your BNBF in June,
Yep.
which is always good. Like again, we'll go back to the thing. It's not being arrogant. It's not being cocky. It's not being a BSer. The fact that you talk like this is something that you visualize yourself doing, and there's no reason why you shouldn't back yourself 100%, because
No.
you're the only person who can back yourself 100%. If you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you.
So well, you think about it, it's not just like myself. Everybody who has made it in any type of sport, football, racing, anything, you think how confident they are in themselves and the ability that they can achieve stuff. Everybody has to have confidence and say, I'm going to do this or I'm going to achieve this. If they didn't, what's the point doing it?
So how if our listeners are on here going, that's easier said than done. What happens if you're not really that confident as a person? You've had a few knockbacks in life and things have just got a bit heavy and you've lost all your confidence. Like how can I get that back?
You just got to take a step back, evaluate things. Whatever happens in life, it happens for a reason. You may be in a bad situation at the minute, in a dark place or whatever it is, or your confidence has been knocked. Sit and look and figure out what has knocked that confidence. Whether it's a person, whether it's something silly has been said, done, or do anything, just take a step back and think, it's not worth it. It's not worth my health and putting myself into a negative situation and giving them or it or whatever it is the glory of saying, ha, told you I've knocked you down. Get back up again, get your ass into gear, get focused, positive thinking, and just show them, you haven't beat me. I'm better than you all. Make yourself stronger and better and come out of that dark tunnel into the light. And I know I said easier and done, but again, as I said, talk to family, friends, put yourself into a positive area and get rid of all the negative stuff.
Indeed, I've seen a lot of TikTok reels and Instagram reels, and it's always about like people said that you can't do certain things and you can't do this or you'll never achieve that. And they said the response was two words: watch me. And they've gone off and done it. So there seems
Yeah,
to be taking that negative energy and putting it back into the, well, screw you, watch me,
yep.
seems to be very apt for many people to do. So yeah, take it and turn it. Take it and
Or
flip it.
even like yourself, you said a wee board, get a wee board or a book, write everything down, what you want to do, and just take it off one by one and just work it nice and gradually and slowly. They all say Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. I think we've talked about this again before. People expect fast results and fast accolades being given to them, but it doesn't come quickly. It doesn't come easily, and you've got to
No.
go through the ups and downs, like you did in this recent competition where you were sick and questioning
Yeah,
everything, and then you had to turn it around and keep fighting even harder to get to where you got to. So it's all about just digging deep, finding that extra strength within, because we all have it. We really
that's
do.
it. Just use your strengths. What makes you happy. For like myself, is my family, my friends. Especially my son. I just use that there as motivation. It's like yourself. You'd use your family, your friends, your kids. Some days you do get your ups and your downs, but just take a step back and look what you have. Look what you have around you. You could be in a lot worse situations, and even if you do feel yourself, down in the dumps, stuff like that, there's so much help out there, that could help you get back in that thing. Again, even talk to friends or families, or just even talk to sometimes if you're in the gym or out anywhere, a stranger or something like that. There, you just don't know. That's
No.
it. you just got to keep
Well,
pushing
I'm
hard.
excited for what's happening in the future. Now, we're obviously in off season now, so you're going to be enjoying all those chocolate bars that you
Nope,
showed
no
me
chocolate
before
bars.
the show.
No
Wild
chocolate
jealous, I
bars.
would love some chocolate now myself. Um, and come the new year, 2024 is the season of David Stewart once again.
Yep.
Watch this space, folks.
There's no chocolate bars. Say it's just,
Y'all
well,
gone?
yeah, I only had, like, funny, it was this time I wasn't really craving it, because I knew coming down the road it was, I'm going to go into off season soon. Yes, I'll have a McDonald's or a Burger King or something like that there for a treat, but it's now it's back up to my 6 meals a day, every 2 or 3 hours eating, ramping the calories up, nice clean food, because I want to put the size on, but also want to keep my body fat a wee bit lower this time. Where normally off season I would just go all out, pizzas, whatever. And so I thought, right, well, this time I'm going to put just a bit of muscle on and evaluate the size where I want to be and hold that size. So when it comes time to cutting down stuff like that, there the condition is there. I'm just bringing it in a lot more sharper this time. As I
So
said,
just before we finish up, David, I'm going to cut you off. We talk about off season and how you're going to bulk up and can you see me now? Bulk up and then you're going to lose the weight. Surely that's counterintuitive. You're wanting to stay lean the whole way through, so then when it comes to the cutting phase, you don't have to do that much work, but you just work on building up the muscles. So explain quickly and briefly to our viewers what the benefits of bulking are and building muscle and then cutting is and how that works.
well, the bulking off season is you're building muscle up. So off season you'll be using like weak areas, say if your arms or if you're a weak chest or legs or something like that there, you want to put more muscle mass on. So the whole idea is, if you're sitting at 9 stone or whatever, you want to probably try and get up 10 stone, maybe a bit heavier. So you're going to ramp your calories up, eating all your clean foods, stuff like that there, put your training in to allow muscle growth. Yes, you could do like a dirty bulk, which would be, what your strongman or whatever would eat, and probably like your pastas, maybe pizzas and stuff like that there. So if you're eating your pizzas, Burger King, stuff like that, off season, you're not really putting muscle on, you're putting fat on. So you're putting in on fat rather than muscle. Where I'm eating your rice, your chicken, your pastas, your steaks, stuff like that. They're all clean, healthy food, but more calories to put on to build muscle, but keep my body fat sort of around a medium level, rather than putting fat on. So comes time to prep season, you're basically trying, the whole idea is to maintain muscle mass but strip the body fat off. You don't want your body to go in to start eating the muscle, so you're going to lose everything. So the whole
Yeah.
idea is to try and keep that muscle mass, so where you've built on weak areas, rather than having, sitting saying, busting your nuts off, so you are, to try and strip all the body fat all off and all that you put on off during off season. Then you're back to square one again. You've only just put fat on, you haven't put muscle or nothing on. And so my goal this year is to try and get a wee bit more muscle on in certain areas, but keep my body fat moderate. So comes time to cutting, I'm bringing my conditioning to even more sharper. Say this, I want to get this season coming up, my conditioning, I want it to be, when I step on stage, they're going, fuck, he's brought it this time.
Brilliant. And you will do it, Davey. You will do it. So without further ado, we will sign off now. We're going
Yep.
to add in the links for Belfast Live, Love Lurgan. Davey's going to plaster this podcast with loads of pictures. And if I haven't done already, you'll see them throughout the podcast.
Yep.
And yes, guys, get on, start liking, start following, start sharing, start talking about it. If you have any questions or
Yep.
any topics you want us to cover, if you're
Hit
like
them
me
likes and
today
shares.
about the
Yeah.
climax of being a crazy mom, then happy days. But I'm not really keen. Yes, Davey, thank you very much, and
Yep.
well done. We're super proud of you of how you've done in your competition. I was buzzing. I couldn't stop jumping around whenever
I
you
just
texted
said,
and
the
said
last couple of days only sunk into me too. That people saying, "Do you know how much of an achievement it is?" And I was, no, not really. And then the other day, I was like, "Holy crap! Whoa!" It's just it really sunk in that, second in Ireland. That's nuts.
it's a big geographical area, so be
Yeah.
proud of it.
We person from Lurgan from the north goes down the south and just takes over. Well, next year I'll
Brilliant.
take over.
You will
But
next year. Next year it's your crown.
I'll
as
have it.
any other crown is.
Oh, well, we'll just keep on pondering away.
You can do it. You've got the mindset for it. And if anyone out there is interested in getting into bodybuilding and wants to ask any questions, Davey is the man they've been speaking to. And if he can't help you, he damn
Fire
well
away.
knows he will.
Yeah. Same as yourself, like personal training and stuff and all. Get your ass down to the lane, she'll put you into shape.
Yeah, I'm not easy going. I make you work hard. I'm lovely.
The
I'm
Queen of Pain.
Right,
Crazy.
I have to
Yes,
go.
same
I have
here.
responsibility now to take over his mum, so I gotta go, guys. Have a chat to you all, and we'll